John Boehner says a political rebellion is happening in our country right now. And according to Congressman Boehner, last night's stunner in Massachusetts is just the beginning. He went on the record. Press Secretary Gibbs said that he was surprised at the results, but he also said President Obama was surprised. Are you surprised?
No.
Why?
Listen, I've been telling people for 9 months that there's a political rebellion going on in America. We saw it manifest itself in August with people showing up at these town hall meetings. And we saw it manifest itself again in New Jersey and in Virginia when 2 Republicans were elected governor. And it manifested itself again last night in Massachusetts, of all places, where the American people are saying enough is enough. And while it was a lot about health care, it's not just health care. It's all the spending and debt that's being accumulated here. It's their national energy tax. It's their bringing their terrorists to America to put them on trial. The American people are opposed to all of these policies, and they're saying, stop. Our concerns are about the economy and asking the question, where are the jobs?
When you came to work today, was there a little bounce out of the step of the Democrats, or is it just business as usual? This is the Senate that's happening to, not the House, but it profoundly affects the House and the agendas of both parties. But what was it like among your colleagues on the other side of the aisle in the House?
Well, this election was more than just about the Senate. This was a signal to Washington from the American people via the people of Massachusetts. Now, my Democrat colleagues today in the House felt it just as strongly as it was intended by the American people. And I've watched their comments all day and listened to their comments all day, and they're backpedaling, all except the Speaker. The Speaker says, full speed ahead. We're going to do this health care bill one way or another, defying what the American people are saying.
What is your prediction on health? I mean, because now there's a sort of a wrench in the sort of the cycle of what the Democrats thought was going to happen. Now they've lost the filibuster-proof Senate. So how do you see all this sort of unraveling?
Well, it looks to me, from everything I've heard thus far, that they're going to find a way, by hook or by crook, to shove this bill through the House into the president's desk. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it. I think their options clearly got very limited last night. But they're determined to get this done. And I can tell you that Republicans are going to stand with the American people and doing everything we can to oppose this. But we need the American people to stay engaged in this fight. Because if the American people stay engaged, we can stop this bill.
The more liberal Democrats who have safe districts, they can continue, I assume, along the same path. They don't have to worry necessarily about November. But what about the conservative Democrats in the House? I mean, have you noticed, have they said anything to you, or do you see them as trying to sort of, trying to be on a different path for health care than their more liberal colleagues?
I haven't heard much out of the more moderate Democrat members, but I heard one prominent liberal Democrat member today say that if they tried to bring the Senate health care bill up in the House, it wouldn't get 100 votes. I agree with him.
President Obama now has got to give a State of the Union on the 27th of January. What do you think? I assume that it has changed in the last 24 hours in terms of how he intends to approach this. Any advice for him?
Well, if I were the president, I would acknowledge what's happened over the last year. While people like the president, and frankly, I like the president, his policies, though, are way out of step with what the American people were expecting from him, and certainly out of step with any ability to work with Republicans. We've offered to work with the president all year. We've been shut out. And so if I were the president, I'd come before the American people and say, listen, I've heard you loud and clear. I'm going to make a renewed effort to keep my campaign promises, to work in a more bipartisan way on things that we can come together on to help improve our economy and get people back to work.
It's so interesting, when the election happened in Virginia and that went to Republican governor, I think everyone thought, well, that's Virginia. Then in New Jersey, and I thought, well, that is peculiar. I mean, that it went for a Republican governor. This, though, is almost cataclysmic in the sense that most people didn't see this one coming. This was a Kennedy-held seat and a very liberal state. And now they've got a Republican senator. So do you think that the Democrats don't see the message that maybe some are, I mean, that they need to sort of regroup?
Well, I think a lot of Democrat members really do understand that this was a seismic shift. And whether if they didn't hear it in August or they didn't hear it in November, they clearly heard it last night. But understand that the left thinks that this is the best opportunity they've had in 50 years to shove through their agenda of more government answers to America's problems. And if you look at the health care bill as an example, forget the government option, forget some of the big little pieces that that were talked about. There's still 100 boards, commissions, mandates in there. It's a giant infrastructure that they want to put into the government. Look at our cap and trade proposal. The huge infrastructure of controlling energy use in America. And so the left, which would be the Speaker and Senator Harry Reid and the President, really do want to do as much as they can while they can. But their ability to do it now is limited.
Republicans gloating today?
No gloating.
No gloating?
No.
Come on.
No.
I mean, there's no gloating?
No. This was a win for the American people and a win for the people of Massachusetts. And it's really about them winning. All I want to tell the American people is that we're going to stand with them and fight this fight and win.
Thank you very much.